What did you make of that Red Bull deal news that sort of came out of nowhere? What was your initial reaction? And how do you think the fans have reacted to that as well? What's the general feeling amongst Leeds fans?
Listen, from a personal point of view, I can't speak for Leeds fans. I can't speak for other people's opinions. From a personal point of view, I thought it was great to have an international company, it's the size of Red Bull, and the investment, the cash investment for the club. Not only the investment that comes into the club, but the business nous that comes with it. You know, the 49ers investment, the San Francisco 49ers, they know how to run global enterprises. Red Bull, they've got a number of clubs, they've got a number of business enterprises, a number of investments. Look at the Formula One racing team, for example. They're the best in their field. They've got the best driver and they're the best at what they do. To have that kind of business input into your football team, never mind the financial input, and it just proves what a pull that Leeds United are. Listen, we talk about the Championship and, you know, Leeds have got to be in the Premier League. They're such a big club. But a deal like this with a global superpower like Red Bull, the partnership there, it shows the size of Leeds United. It shows the size of where the club wants to go. The club is serious about getting back in the Premiership. They missed out this season. Granted, it was a really poor display in the playoff final, but actually the timing of this deal couldn't have been better. We all left Wembley, myself, my son included, on a real low, disappointed. But then a few days later, you hear they've got an investment from a thing, you know, a company the size of Red Bull. I think the only disappointment for the Leeds United fans or any Leeds fans out there is the fact that the word's red in the name.
And Pete, how lucrative is the deal, and will there be promotion incentives also tied into the deal potentially?
Yeah, obviously it's a minority ownership stake that Red Bull have put into Leeds, but like Paul said, there it's a welcome boost to the club. Obviously, after the not winning promotion to the Premier League, there's been a lot of doom and gloom around the club about potential player sales, how much money is needed to be brought in this summer to balance the books. They've obviously still got outstanding payments to be made on other transfers over the last couple of seasons that need to be paid as well. So Red Bull coming in and investing this money is a real lift for the club. As I said, they're a global brand. They will bring finance to the club as well, alongside the 49ers group as well. I was surprised by it, but as I said, like Paul said, it was probably a real welcome boost when that news did come out that Red Bull were investing in the club. Again, they've worked with other football clubs, so the likes of RB Leipzig, RB Salzburg. They've got experience and knowledge in the football world, so that can only be beneficial to Leeds United. And as I said, with the whole situation of the club having to balance their books now, especially having missed out on promotion, it's a real welcome boost, especially the timing of it right now as well. And I'm sure the Leeds fans will be hoping that as part of this deal, that maybe there will be funds made available for Daniel Farke to go out and strengthen the squad, because there's no doubts there's going to be big, major changes on that personnel side of things in that Leeds playing squad. So with players going out, players going to have to come in as well right now. The main thing for Leeds fans was that there was no change to the badge. The name wasn't going to get changed either, as happened in other clubs that Leipzig have been involved in. So I think it can only be good news for Leeds, in my opinion, that they've got this investment as well. They're a very well-run organisation, and whatever input they can offer to the club, it can only benefit them, I'm sure.
So, Peter, you're effectively saying in there then that sales are still inevitable, but the recruitment and signing players to replace those that go the likes potentially of, say, Somerville, Archie Gray, Nyonto is going to be of a high calibre potentially for the fans.
Yeah, well, I think definitely player sales are still required. There's no doubt about that. I don't think this investment from Red Bull will change that. Again, it's not just from the financial side of things. Those players some of them will want to leave. They don't want to be playing in the Championship again, and there will be widespread interest from other clubs in the likes of Somerville, Nyonto, and potentially Archie Gray as well. So Leeds are going to have the resolve tested to keep hold of those players this summer. And I do think some will have to leave. They're going to have to balance the books. Otherwise, they could potentially face PSR or FFP regulations or breaches. So, yeah, it's just common sense that players are going to leave, I think, in that respect as well. But with Red Bull coming in and investing, it obviously paints a rosier picture, hopefully, for the finances of Leeds, that this new investment will help them to pay off their debts, balance the books, and then obviously if there's any money left over, and then the money that they do earn from potential departures will go into the kitty for Daniel Farke to strengthen the squad.
And Paul, we saw a few players leave as free agents this summer, Sam Byram, Liam Cooper, to name a few. Are they likely to be replaced? With some inside info, are we expecting quite a busy summer, not only from those sort of star sales and then signings? Are we expecting some of those fringe players and sort of squad players to be replaced too?
I think you have to. I mean, like Pete touched upon there, you're in the Championship. You have to cut your cloth accordingly. The manager's still fairly fledgling in his time at Leeds. So there's things that he'll want to do with the squad. There's things that he'll want to move in and out. And I think being a complete realist, you're in the Championship. But it's no surprise. They will have worked on 2 budgets. Clubs will plan, they'll plan months in advance, and they will have gone into the last few weeks of the season when they still had an opportunity to go up automatically, or whether it was the playoffs where they were working from 2 budgets. They would have had a very good idea of what players they were going to keep, what players they were going to offer a new contract if they were in the Premier League, and what players and what personnel they were going to keep and what they could offer them if they're in the Championship. There would be a clear pathway. So from that side of things, there's no real panic. I mean, it will be very, very clearly mapped out. They'll understand their budget and where they are. They will understand what players they've got to lose. And that's just the fact of dropping into the Championship. You look at a lot of the teams, it's very, very rare that a team that drops into the Championship with good players that doesn't lose at least 1 or 2 of them. Now, if Leeds don't, it'd be fantastic. Maybe with that investment from Red Bull, that could potentially be the key to trying to keep in hold of some of these players. But actually, a player's personal want, will and ambition, as we've seen before, it's very, very difficult to keep a player who doesn't want to be at a football club. Although Daniel Farke did extremely well with Willie Gnonto at the start of the season. But I think if Willie Gnonto and Somerville decide that they don't want to be there this summer, it's going to be a lot harder sell to keep them if there are Premier League clubs interested in them. But listen, that's just the fact of dropping in the Championship. It's not a bad thing for Leeds. They've got an opportunity now with the investment. They've got a thing with Daniel Farke there, the recruitment side of things. If they get the recruitment right, they can regroup and go again. It just depends on what outgoings that they have to have.
You've just watched a segment from Football Insider's brand new podcast, The Inside Track, with me, Lewis Pearce, alongside the guests on the show. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please do give the video a like, comment your thoughts on the topic, and feel free to share on your social media pages. If you want to listen to the full podcast episode, click the link in the description below. Keep your eyes peeled for plenty more content and exclusives here on The Inside Track.